Yo, yo, yo. What up, peoples? What it do? It's Thursday, man. That weekend's almost here. Almost here. We've got video gaming news for today, the last day of August 31st. So we got video gaming news. Then we're going to watch a Nintendo Direct, which pops off at 9 o'clock for us. So we're about 2.5 hours away from that. We'll see how long the news goes. If anything, I don't know. Maybe we'll just... if it's a shorter news segment, we might just go watch the Soul Frame trailer again. There's like a 30-minute Soul Frame trailer we watched the other day. We might just rehash that, take another look at that or something, or see what else we can dive into before the Nintendo Direct pops off. And then we'll get into playing some more Fallout New Vegas after that. Cool. FYI, for anybody that doesn't know, stream will be down Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Okay, doing a little bit of an end of summer family thing, and so we'll not be having live streams this weekend or Monday. Okay, so just so everybody's aware, I'll put it out on socials and everything too. Probably tomorrow afternoon-ish / evening to make sure everybody stays up to date on that information. Cool. Let's go ahead and do this, man. Let's dive in here and see what we got going on in the world of video games. Cool. Let's just run through some music today while we pull up our articles. Once I get into the articles, then I don't know. I'll go ahead and pause the music, but we'll just do it like that today. Yeah, Nintendo Direct. First of all, let's get in here. Nintendo Direct should be, let's make sure we got the time right here. Yeah, 10 a.m. Eastern today. So we will be watching this at 9 o'clock our time, about 2.5 hours, okay? I guess before we dive into articles, let's go ahead and talk about this too. You've got roughly 3.5 hours until Homeworld Deserts of Karak is no longer going to be available as a free game on Epic, and then it will transfer over into being Cave Story Plus as the free game for the coming week. Okay, so go get your free game, do it before Homeworld Deserts of Karak is no longer available. Grab your free title, and then get ready to grab Cave Story Plus whenever it becomes available later on this morning. Okay, or afternoon or evening, whatever time it is for you, just be ready for that. Cool. Now let's see what we got here. PS Plus Essential free games for September revealed. I think we've already kind of hit on a lot of this, but let's make sure we didn't have any new additions there. Starfield fan banned from Massive Gaming Reddit for snitching. What? Oh, geez. Here we go again, dude. Another War Thunder player has leaked restricted military documents. Again. This keeps happening, dude, in these games. It's actually crazy. Here, let's get that death count off of there for now. How about that? We didn't need that up. Not until we're playing games. There we go. Seems good. Old Hod Coward thinks that Bethesda's got gaming's smartest fans. Old Hod Coward. I'll tell you what. Todd's still looking pretty solid for I mean, he's getting up there in age, dude, but he's still looking pretty youthful, you know what I mean? I've seen him a couple times here lately doing some promotional stuff for Starfield. He's aged pretty well, dude. It seems like, but I mean, I think that's what, you know, sometimes money will do for people. So, who knows? Yep, we got the Nintendo Direct popping off this morning, and we will watch it together here on stream live, right? We got about 3.5 hours, like I said, and we'll watch it here together, okay, guys? Dude, I am not a fan of Gaming Bible. They got really bad with their clickbaity kind of titles and stuff. Let me see what this is real quick. But I want to get everybody as much free content as possible, so let's see what they're trying to give away. They're just talking about the Epic game. I've already talked about it, so we don't need to dive into that. We've got the PS Plus Essential stuff up. Ooh, yeah, look out. Toxic Gamers. Activision announces Modern Warfare 3 will use AI voice chat moderation. Okay, we knew that some of the bigger companies were implementing AI voice chat mechanics. A lot of it was going to be for moderation. Dude, I love it. I think it's great. It's gonna be early technology on this front, so there's bound to be some stuff that needs to be ironed out with it. There are going to be some accounts that probably get banned, unwarranted bans for some accounts that shouldn't have been banned, things like that they'll have to address. But usually what this is it'll be more of a process where anything that requires a ban, usually with this AI stuff, it does real-time listening to catch anything that could be considered against TOS. Then it will send that audio, capture that audio, and send it to a real live person moderator for them to double check it. So hopefully there won't be too much of that going down. It's not like the AI is just going to go flagged and banned. It's usually a case where that's like the first level of it. The AI VoIP moderation is going to catch things and go, oh, this is potentially bad. This should be captured and sent to a human moderator. A human moderator will then double check to see whether or not it is in fact something that breaks terms. And then if not, it's just over. If it is, then they handle it. They, depending on the severity of the infraction, right, they'll impose some kind of restrictions on the account or something like that, you know. Now, here's the thing. We've seen, you know, a lot of bigger companies are implementing this kind of stuff, and I'm really glad that bigger company. I mean, look, all the way around, I think that any kind of developer that is implementing a live service game that allows people to play together and has any kind of communication feature at all needs to have some kind of reporting feature at the very least, some kind of self-reporting for players, because everybody that hangs out here very often knows. Oh, yo, what's up, Davey? What's going on, buddy? Confused. Davey's confused. How to free Akara from the ice. Oh, dude. Oh, God. I'd have to think about that for a second, dude. If I remember correctly, that's something you have to go back and do later on. If I remember. But I could be wrong too. I don't know if I'm misremembering or not. It's not like as soon as you get to her, you can free her. It takes an amount of continued progression until you find the yeah, I think it takes an amount of continued progression before you get the thing you need to actually free her from the ice. Yeah, if I remember correctly. I think I know kind of what it is. I think it might have something to do with the forge in that area and everything too. But dude, it's not real fresh on my mind either, so sorry, dude. It's good to see you, buddy. Happy Thursday, dude. Again, people know my stance on this that hang out here very often, and you know, I think that competitive banter is something that is appropriate for competitive live service games. The unfortunate thing is that most people can't handle competitive banter on a fun level, so it escalates into a toxic level for a lot of people. A lot of people can't handle it, so if they get trolled out a little bit, they just automatically get really toxic, and they spew hate speech, they spew discriminatory stuff, slander against all kinds of different demographics, racist, sexist, you name it, you know what I mean? Even into the realm of self-harm, promoting self-harm against people and stuff. It's really, really gross. And that's the big dividing line there. I would hate to see these companies get to a point where they're like, oh, well, you can't talk any kind of trash at all. You can't engage in any kind of competitive kind of banter at all. You know, that's gonna, and I'm afraid that's where it's going to end up heading, because so many people have such a hard time just laughing off competitive banter. So many people lose their minds if anybody trolls them out at all, and then that's where they dive into the toxic side of things. You know, as a rebuttal, they just automatically escalate to the highest level, and they go way over the line, and it's unfortunate. And so that's why I think a lot of companies are just going to go, if you talk any kind of trash at all, you're done, you know, which is unfortunate, because I really do think competitive banter has a place in competitive games. You just can't cross that line of being toxic, man, being overtly toxic and, you know, discriminating against people and promoting self-harm and things like that. You know, discrimination. You can't do that, man. There's no place for that in gaming. There's no place for that in the world, you know? So, I would hate to see developers get to a point where they don't discern between the two personally, but I think it will get to the point to where they just don't allow any of it as an easier way to address it, probably, unfortunately. But, there isn't any room for the toxic stuff, man. There really isn't. And I report it. I highly encourage other people to report the super toxic stuff they see in games. It ruins communities. It ruins communities. It ruins other people's experiences. You have people engaging in that kind of communication, and it's not fun, dude. It's not fun. And I don't know. It's good to see these companies doing this kind of thing. So we'll see exactly what Activision is getting done here with their AI voice chat moderation when we dive into the article, though. Oh, nice, dude. Hey, everybody that's on Windows 11, get ready for the Bing pop-ups during your gaming sessions. Nice, Windows. Great job, Microsoft. That's one of those things that, like, you know, I talk about a lot when you deal with these kinds of games that have massive amounts of inventory space and stuff like that. You want to be able to have like a search bar. That's a quality of life item that they needed in that game, in my opinion, to just be able to search for things, sort things in a specific manner, to be able to quickly find the things you needed, because that's a very, very heavy loot kind of game. And to be able to sort things in different manner, filter things out, even just a search bar to be able to look for something specific in your inventory and stuff, dude, would have been a great thing for that game. I talked about that when I played it, actually. Yeah. That's a hard one for me to be able to help with, dude. If you can't find it in your inventory, I don't really know how to help. if that's where it was supposed to go. Sorry, buddy. Today marks the end of Xbox games with gold, so you should be downloading these games before it's gone. Oh, they're price hiking their tiers. PlayStation Plus is interesting. Nice. Okay. I guess they kind of felt like, well, if Xbox does it, why aren't we doing it? Whenever Xbox has had their subscription service for what, 2017? And I don't think they've ever raised the price until now. They tried previously, but they got so much flack for it that they pulled back and pulled the price back down. Or they didn't end up incorporating the price hike until right now. We'll see what's going on there. You might, if you're having a really tough time, Davey, you might throw something in the Discord, see if anybody knows how they might be able to help on that front, dude. Just throw a message in there and let them know the issue you're having. There are a lot of people that have played Divinity, dude. They might be able to help more on that front. I just obviously right now I can't dive into trying to research what might be happening. You know what I mean? While I'm trying to do the news, buddy. Yeah, obviously, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to start ramping up now that Starfield is releasing, which it hasn't released fully yet. It won't release in full for another week, but once that happens and once they get well into being having the game really stable with initial patches and stuff, that's where they'll be. They'll be really full focused and full steam ahead on Elder Scrolls 6. Raspberry Pis, amazing devices. Saints Row developer has no plans to remake the games you actually liked, so they'll keep trying to make new versions of Saints Row, which nobody likes. Seems good. All right, let's go look at our other search real quick. Light it up. We're going to be watching this. Paper Cut Mansion. Let's see what this is. Paper Cut Mansion. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, PS Plus price increase not going down well. Yeah, why would it? This service has literally not even been out a year yet, right? So I mean, what makes them think that like this is okay? Just because Microsoft is doing it? Or no, it's been out just over a year now, hasn't it? It's been out just over a year. Yeah, because it came out, what, May of last year? Was that when it was? I think so. Yeah, so just over a year now. But, like, what? Because Xbox raised their prices, that makes PlayStation feel like they get to raise theirs? Whenever their subscription service has only been out for over a year to, you know, on the level of matching what Xbox does? Wow, dude. Yeah, we talked about it. This is the dude. This is the guy that stole all the Starfield games before release. He had access in a warehouse or whatever. We'll pull this up. Let's talk about this. Yo, this dude's facing like multiple felony charges. Kind of wild. Put that right there. Let's go. Witcher 4 is about to get a big development boost. See what's going on there. Let me say something. If The Witcher 4 comes out and it is at all a mess on any platform, I probably won't play CDPR games at all anymore. 1 second. There it goes. I think my sentiment here being, I don't think there are very many companies that stand in really stand up to CDPR with the kind of content that they can make. But from The Witcher 3 and the issues that game had on release, and even playing it last year in full, still had a lot of bugs, a lot of crashes, a lot of really rough bugs in that game. Which obviously, I mean, the experience of the game makes up for that, but still, performance-wise, man, I mean, it feels bad. Into what happened with Cyberpunk, I need to see CDPR progress greatly on the front of whatever game they come out with next. And I think this is actually, The Witcher 4 is codenamed like Polaris, I think, is actually what it's codenamed. We'll find out probably when we look at this this article, but I need to see CDPR progressing as a software development company. Not on the side of content, on the side of performance. It's so mauling to me to see a company still do so well whenever they've done such a poor job at pushing out games performance-wise. Whenever so many people have felt cheated by them, you know, and I really, really hope that they are getting their crap together on the performance side of their releases. because you know they're going to hype the crap out of this game. And you know the game's going to be hyped up anyways because it says Witcher on it. This is just another example of the things we see all the time with, oh, it says Star Wars, so there are going to be a ton of people that buy the game, just like Jedi Survivor. And that game is a hot flipping mess still to this day. When did that game release? Jedi Survivor, dude? What, months ago, dude? And it's still just a big flipping mess. You know, people buy it, but just because it has that name on it. I feel like this is where CDPR is kind of gotten to almost. Is like, oh, well, people love this series, so it's okay. You know, we'll fix it after the fact or whatever. We'll just lean on the internet as a crutch and we'll fix it afterwards or whatever. That sucks, dude. That's not the way things are supposed to work. So whatever they come out with next, whatever their next release is, it needs to perform well. I don't expect it to be flawless, but it definitely needs to be much better than what I've experienced with The Witcher 3 and especially what I've known about Cyberpunk. I won't pay for Cyberpunk, dude. I just won't do it. But we'll see what's going on here. So here's the problem. 6 Switch games that should get Switch 2 ports. Let me put a different spin on this for you, okay? Let me spin this real quick. So the problem is not which games should get Switch ports. It's the fact that most games will get a Switch 2 port, and most of them you'll have to pay for again if you want to play them on the next Nintendo console, if it is called the Switch 2. Even if you already own them on the previous console, if you want to play them on the next gen console, be prepared to have to double dip and buy them again. Because this is what Nintendo does. Which is actually disgusting. You should not have to buy a title again to play it on the next generation of console if you already own it and all it is a port over. It's different if you're talking about a game that has been remastered or remade or something like that. But if it's a game, and look, Nintendo's notorious for this. Mario Kart 8 for the Switch, right, is a game that was out on the Wii U. But if you had it on the Wii U, you had to pay for it again to play it on the Switch because you had to buy the Switch version of it. It's crap. And they're gonna do it again. I really hope they don't. But dude, they're notorious for this. So it's not about which game should get Switch 2 ports. It's about the fact that a ton of the Nintendo games are going to get ported over from their Switch versions to their next console. And it'll just be a direct port. And if you want it on that next console, even though you already own it for the previous gen console, you're going to have to buy it again at a price point that almost literally never drops on Nintendo games. It's absolutely disgusting. Oh, play the game in honor mode. Oh, dude, isn't honor mode like if you get wiped, you have to start over? Isn't that honor mode? Sorry I wasn't able to help with the other stuff, dude. It's just kind of out of my mind right now. I don't remember how to address that. If you can't find it in your inventory and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like one of those games, if you wanted to get all those trophies, you're better off just following a guide from the get-go. If there are that many missables, man. Oh, Jesus. Raising their prices by up to 35%. Jesus. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what I remember it being a little bit bizarre, I thought, too, where it was like, it seemed like it should have been more straightforward, but it actually kind of wasn't, if I remembered correctly. I don't know. It seemed weird. That's why I can't really recall exactly, but it seemed kind of odd for me too, trying to recall looking back. That's why it's a weird thing for me to address, I think. Looks like Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition leaked by US Ratings Board. That means a re-release there. In some capacity. Dude, I want to look up, while we're, I'm thinking about it. Let's look this up real quick. Stars, Metacritic. We're going to take another peek at that today, see how that's doing. That game's been looking pretty good already, man. Early into the release right now, this game is looking very, very good. What? What is it about video game wizards that freaks out straight men? Video game wizards don't freak me out, and I'm a straight dude, so I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not clicking on this gaming Bible. Get wrecked. Okay, let's get into these articles. Let's dive in here, man. Let's go ahead and we'll kill this music for now. All right. There we go. Seems good. The Witcher 4 is about to get a big development boost. CDPR has revealed new details about the next mainline Witcher game. As part of its half-yearly financial results, CDPR has revealed new details about the state of the next game in the Witcher franchise, known internally as Polaris. Yep, like I said when we found the article, which was first announced early last year. As picked up by Video Games Chronicle, The Witcher 4 now has over 250 developers working on it. Which makes sense because Phantom Liberty is basically, for the most part, done, about to release, all that stuff, right? While CDPR's presentation to investors was strongly focused on Cyberpunk 2077, with the ambitious Phantom Liberty expansion due out in September, we got a glimpse of how development is going thanks to the company's breakdown of how its workforce is currently engaged. The Phantom Liberty team is currently the largest at around 300 people, though the Polaris team has grown to almost 260 developers as of the end of July. A major change is in store once Phantom Liberty releases, with CDPR CEO Adam Kaczynski saying, "After releasing Phantom Liberty, we will transfer a big part of the team to Polaris." Right. That's just logical, dude. I mean, this is the way it goes. For all developers, major developers, where they probably have a major project and they have other projects in the pipeline, this is the way this goes. Whether it be BioWare with Dragon's Age that they're working on, and people want Mass Effect, but you're not going to get Mass Effect, okay, until Dragon's Age is finished and basically released. Same thing for, I mean, Any of it really. You know, any developer, this is the way it works. They're going to have the majority of their resources allocated to the main project that they are trying to push out. Once that is basically completed, they'll take those resources and they'll push them down to the next project that's coming up the pipeline for them. That's the one they're trying to focus on getting pushed out. That's the way this goes, right? Hold on, guys. Sorry. What is this? Oh no, dude. Sorry. Sorry. Um, Not much is yet known about the next mainline Witcher game, although a CD Projekt said when it was announced that it would be the start of the new saga for the franchise, despite the size of the game's development team. We shouldn't expect it to release until 2025 at the earliest, and even that release window seems ambitious for a game of this scope. When Polaris is intended as the next main game in the series, while Polaris is intended as the next main game in the series, CD Projekt has a number of other Witcher-related games in the works, including spin-off Project Sirius, which is being developed by Flame in the Flood developer The Molasses Flood. Also in the works are a main sequel for Cyberpunk 2077 and a brand new IP currently known only as Project Hadar. Yeah, we knew they had a couple of other projects. One's supposed to be the multiplayer stuff. So we'll see. We'll see there. Again, for me, I just need to see CDPR do better on performance. That's what I need. They kill it on content, but I need them to do better on performance. Um, from The Witcher 3 to Cyberpunk, it has not been a good look. You know, um, Witcher 3 absolutely had its own issues. And then moving into Cyberpunk, we all know the story behind that one. And I think this next release for CDPR is going to be a big. I mean, for me personally, I'm already really anti CDPR because of everything else that's happened with them, and I feel like they, instead of doing what they should have done, which is bite the bullet, take the heat for not being able to release the game on time, they made consumers pay the price. You know, instead of delaying the game like they should have, right? Making sure that it was in a much better performing state. Talking about Cyberpunk, they decided to just ride the hype train that had built up underneath it, push it out even though they knew it wasn't ready, and dupe a bunch of people. And for me, that's just as scummy as it gets, dude. And so I need to see them do better on this next one. If not, there is absolutely no way I'll play another CDPR game moving forward. Absolutely not. I need to make let me see here. I need to make a quick phone call, guys. I'm sorry, I had something come up real quick. Backlogging games is so gigantic. Go through one game, hundreds of hours. Yeah, dude, I know, Davey. Yeah, dude, I don't blame you right there. I know it's a difficult thing for you, man. But yeah, I completely understand that, guys. I need just like a couple minutes here. Give me just a couple minutes. All right, sorry guys. I might receive a call that I'll have to take. We'll see what happens. Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition leaked by US Ratings Board. The unannounced title has been classified for PC and consoles. Ubisoft looks set to release an updated edition of Beyond Good and Evil to coincide with the game's 20th anniversary this year. As spotted by Twitter user at MacOS380, the U.S. Entertainment Software Ratings Board has recently classified the unannounced Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. The game is listed as coming to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Switch. Ubisoft has been planning a sequel. Yeah, this is notorious as like the mythological sequel to Beyond Good and Evil has been in development for ever. They've been planning a sequel to 2003's Beyond Good and Evil for the better part of 2 decades. It first teased Beyond Good and Evil 2 with a trailer in 2008, although this was followed by almost a decade of silence before the title resurfaced in E3 of 2017, when the publisher revealed it would take the form of a prequel. It was announced in August of 2020 that a feature film adaptation of Beyond Good and Evil was also in the works at Netflix. Following month, Beyond Good and Evil and Rayman creator Michael Ancel announced he was leaving Ubisoft Montpellier to focus on a new career in wildlife. This February, a Kotaku reporter claimed that Ubisoft Montpellier managing director Guillaume Carmona had left the studio amid a labor investigation by local government authorities. 3 sources told the site that Carmona's exit followed a year in which dozens of developers took extended leave for stress or sickness as the studio continued to struggle with development of Beyond Good and Evil 2. According to the report, Beyond Good and Evil 2 was still not even technically in pre-production, as Ubisoft Montpellier had yet to settle on a creative vision for the project. In July, Beyond Good and Evil 2 creative director Emile Morel passed away at the age of 40. The game designer also worked on Rayman Legends during 14 years with Ubisoft. It's definitely had its issues, but it looks like we got a 20th anniversary edition of the original Beyond Good and Evil coming to us. So there you go. Okay, so yeah. Look out, toxic gamers. Activision announces Modern Warfare 3 will use AI voice chat moderation. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is headed to gamers on November 10th. Fans keep getting exciting news about the upcoming title. Gamescom 2023 revealed the highly anticipated FPS will feature open combat missions. Marked the first occasion a zombies game mode has been included in Modern Warfare. Excuse me. The fate of the world and the cruelty of infamous Call of Duty antagonist Vladimir Makarov is just a few months away. November 10th is the release date. Beginning of October, starts the betas, promising a fresh new story and gameplay. The most recent update concerning Modern Warfare 3 comes in the form of Activision attempting to combat toxic behavior. In the future, when you get into an online game and start chatting it up with fellow players, Activision will be listening. However, the video game company will not be spying on you by real human means. Instead, it will be done through the use of AI technology. The video game company will be implementing ToxMod from Modulate, which is an AI-powered model that picks up on inappropriate discussions among players. Okay. This is what we need to know, though. What is considered inappropriate discussions, right? Activision has tried to assure players excited about Modern Warfare 3 that the AI system will not be listening to everything they say. The model will work by listening for specific keywords. Try to pick up on language it does not deem allowable, such as discriminatory and hate-based speech. There you go. It is likely, I don't know how it wouldn't be listening all the time then, though. It is likely since the Call of Duty text-based system can't detect these words in 14 different languages, the AI model will work similarly across more than just English. There has certainly been more of a push towards eliminating toxicity in gaming, and Activision wants to take the one small step for man with Modern Warfare 3. Why AI monitoring in Modern Warfare 3 could be good and bad. I kind of probably touched on a lot of what they'll talk about whenever I found this article in the first place. When it comes to hurting others through derogatory language for the purpose of verbal abuse, it's probably safe to say most people are against it. There's definitely a large portion of the gaming community that is encouraging, quite wholesome in the way players address each other. However, on the other side of the coin exist those who are fueled by hateful speech. These are the people who throw around statements of racism, sexism, homophobia, etc., with the sole purpose of isolating and traumatizing those groups of people. Right. This kind of stuff is absolutely not acceptable. It is terrible. I will even throw in here, I have seen, witnessed, been the victim of also some horrendous talk of people trying to promote others to engage in self-harm, stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's so gross. On top of the disgusting, forms of racism, sexism, homophobia, discriminatory stuff. There's all kinds of things that happen that just are not okay. I think, again, for me, you have to discern between competitive banter, a little bit of trolliness is okay. But when people start getting into the realm of this kind of stuff, it is not okay. And these people need to be gotten rid of. The good part of Activision's new Modern Warfare 3 AI technology is that over time it will likely stop the worst kinds of toxic verbal behavior. It is important for gamers from all walks of life to feel comfortable playing the games they love. This will potentially accomplish that goal. Fandom Wire previously reported on new data that shows 60% of gamers have quit a game session a game session due to the toxicity of a particular community. This shows just how important it is to try to reduce these interactions, especially in platforms available to the general public. The possible bad side of Activision's AI move is that it could lead to a questionable precedent of censorship, not only for Modern Warfare 3, but to gaming as a whole. While this definitely seems to be starting with good intentions, it might become a much larger issue as it relates to speech. Toxic gamers will inevitably change their terminology to avoid AI detection, and if the system continues to try to adapt, it could go too far. The ultimate goal is to limit the worst kinds of behavior, but it could come at an overall cost. Yeah, exactly what I talked about before as well. According to Activision, when it comes to Call of Duty games, hate speech is unacceptable. The company says the following about such conduct. We do not tolerate bullying or harassment, including derogatory comments based on race, gender identity or expression, sexual orientation, age, culture, faith, mental or physical abilities, or country of origin. All members of our community should be treated with dignity and respect. Communication with others, whether using text or voice chat, must be free of offensive or harmful language. Hate speech and discriminatory language is offensive and unacceptable and is harassment and threatening another player. Clearly, Activision is determined to make its gaming communities more comfortable for players. However, as AI continues to infect various industries and as censorship in video games is always controversial, it will be interesting to see what happens next. Yeah, so that's my worry too. As somebody who is absolutely a proponent of maintaining that competitive banter, a little bit of trolliness is absolutely fine in competitive games. I think it's fun. I think it's fun. But the problem is a lot of people need to learn how to take that competitive banter as well as they can give it. And a lot of people aren't good at that, right? So they'll try to dish it out, but whenever people hit them back with something better, they lose their minds and they can't handle it, right? Because they're not used to it. And so that's when they automatically just exacerbate the whole situation and they take it to another level and they start engaging in this kind of terrible stuff. We're talking about all the flipping hate speech and the discriminatory stuff, and it's just really not acceptable. So again, I think the problem there is that a lot of these developers are going to get to a point where they go, well, you just can't troll it all. You just can't have any kind of competitive banter because it leads to there are too many soft people out there, too many people don't have a thick enough skin to deal with it, so they end up just losing their minds, and anytime somebody gives them a little bit of a jab a verbal jab that isn't something super toxic, or it's just a little bit of I gotcha, you know what I mean, they lose their minds and they go into this whole tirade of hate speech and promoting self-harm, and it's like, you know they just can't handle it, and it's crazy. And so I think a lot of these developers are going to get to the point where they're like, well, you just can't engage in any kind of that talk at all, and so that's my worry about it. I mean, being somebody that's gamed for a very, very long time in a lot of different realms of competitive gaming and online gaming, multiplayer sessions and stuff, and I truly believe that competitive banter, a little bit of trolling people out and letting them know that you got the best of them, especially if they tried to do it to you first, being able to get back at them a little bit, dude, is very, very appropriate. But the people that cross the line and get into the really toxic side of that, engage in the hate speech and the discriminatory stuff and promoting of self-harm, it's not acceptable. They don't deserve to be parts of these communities at all. So hopefully these companies will be able to discern between the two and not just eliminate it all as a whole, but get rid of the people that don't deserve to be there. I don't think that'll be what happens. Not getting the correct dialogue from the NPC. That's weird, man. There's got to be something going on there. Somebody's had to experience the same thing, man. There's got to be somebody that. There's got to be some kind of guide or something. There's probably some kind of like post on the Steam forums that somebody's experienced the same thing that could guide you through what's going on and how to fix it or whatever. I'm guessing. Before Xbox Games with Gold disappears, don't forget to download these titles. Today marks the end of an era for Xbox Games with Gold, as the service will officially be ending on September 1st. Xbox Live Gold is then set to be replaced by a new tier of Xbox Game Pass called Game Pass Core on September 14th. Before then, you've got a few more hours left to claim a bunch of Xbox Games with Gold titles for the final time. The two main ones are the August 2023 title, Blue Fire, and Inertial Drift in most regions, but there are a few others as well. For example, Port Royale 3 is still free with Xbox Live Gold in many countries at the moment, so it's worth adding to your library while you still can. You may also find that Xbox has more free gold titles in your country, such as Space Invaders Infinity Gene in some European countries, so it's worth double checking to make sure you've snapped them up. Don't forget that even though Xbox Games with Gold is ending this week, you'll still be able to access your Games with Gold titles as long as you're subscribed to Game Pass Core or Game Pass Ultimate in the future, and the Xbox 360 games will actually be available to you regardless of whether you have a subscription or not. All right, so that's why it's important that you grab them while you still can. But today's the last day, guys, so don't hesitate. Go ahead and get this done. Where is 1 second, guys. All right, sorry. Should be good. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so let's talk about this PS Plus stuff. So first of all, the free games that everybody will be getting for September. PS Plus's games include open world crime, fantasy, and sci-fi adventures. So Saints Row is the headliner in the next batch of games. Are you flipping kidding me? Okay. Available from September 5th through October 3rd. September's PS Plus games also include Black Desert Traveler Edition and Generation Zero. Yo, the developer behind Black Desert, if you guys have not seen this game, this got shown off at Gamescom, and it looks really good. Check this noise out. What is the name of this? I can't remember the name right now. First Descendant. Is this? No, that's not it. That's not it. What's the name of their game? That's not it, is it? No, I don't think so. No, that's Nexon's third-person shooter game. Hold on, I'll find it. Check this out. Crimson Desert. It shouldn't be that hard to remember, should it? Black Desert, Crimson Desert. So, this is they've shown off this game now, and it looks really really good. It looks really really good. So, if you haven't seen this yet, I highly recommend taking a look. We've looked at it a number of times already in the news segment and everything, but Crimson Desert looks dope, man. So, highly recommend. If we have enough time in between finishing up the news segment and whenever the Nintendo Direct starts, then I will probably like watch a few trailers and stuff that we've already kind of hit on, and maybe Crimson Desert would be one of them, but we'll see. Okay. So as well as so basically Saints Row, Black Desert, Traveler Edition, and Generation Zero. So all PS Plus tiers can claim them once they become available next week. Yeah, Saints Row reboot was originally released in 2022 and was generally thought to be pretty bad. So to see Saints Row be the headliner this month is kind of gross. Like the original games, yeah. I'll let you guys read that. Generation Zero is a set in a dangerous version of 1980s Sweden. Players have to battle and survive against deadly machine enemies. Game can be played alone or with up to 3 friends in online co-op. By scavenging parts from fallen enemies, you can craft equipment, weapons, and ammunition for the battles that lie ahead. Black Desert is a fantasy MMORPG that with fast-paced PvE combat, large-scale PvP, siege wars, and multiple character classes to master. And the Traveler Edition throws in multiple add-ons for the base version of the game. Black Desert is a notorious MMORPG. A lot of people have played it for a long time. If you like MMOs, then you might like to dive into that. I'll let you read about Saints Row. I mean, it's like the original. It's open world environment. Basically, kind of GTA styled game, right? Get quests, go around, cause chaos, steal cars, wreak havoc on stuff, all kinds of weapons and things. But apparently, it's not a great game overall, consensus review wise and everything. But you know, you do you. If you got the subscription service and it looks fun, I mean, why not check it out? You know, for sure. So August's PS Plus games can still be claimed. They will still be available until September 4th. That's PGA Tour 2K23, Dreams, and Death's Door. Death's Door, super notable right there. So there you go. That's the gist of what you need to know about the PS Plus lineup, okay? Now, here's the big stuff. Apparently, PS Plus subscribers are livid at vile new announcement and the games that we just talked about. So, PlayStation fans are absolutely slamming Sony for the poor state of PlayStation Plus, as well as the horrendous price hike for its tiers. It's been less than 24 hours since PlayStation announced its next lineup of PlayStation Plus Essential games. While it's always nice to get 3 free games, the last few monthly offerings have been abysmal. Fans haven't hidden their discontent. Yesterday, though, was seemingly the final nail in the coffin, the last straw, the coup de grace, and it's driven fans around the bend. PlayStation published a blog post outlining the next 3 games that would be available for PlayStation Plus Essential, Extra, and Premium subscribers to download. These were Saints Row, Black Desert Traveler Edition, and Generation Zero. While these aren't the worst titles in the world, they're certainly lackluster compared to what fans were hoping for. However, that wasn't the biggest letdown, as down towards the bottom of the post was a cheeky announcement that the price of all PlayStation Plus tiers would be increased. The new prices will be as follows. PS Plus Essential 12-month subscription is $80 US, 72 euros, 60 pounds, and 6,800 yens. Yen, not yens, yen. The extra tier is 12-month subscription, $135 US, 126 euros, 100 pounds, and 11,700 yen. PS Plus Premium 12-month subscription is 160 US, 152 euros, 120 pounds, and 13,900 yen. Fans couldn't be more livid and took their rage to a Reddit post by a Turbo Strider 27, which announced the new lineup. Quote, raising the price by extra by $35. What the actual F? Unless you're going to start putting games on there day one, they can F right off. Look, I've said this the whole time. The big thing that sets these subscription services apart, and let's be fair, Xbox has been doing this subscription service in Game Pass, which PlayStation has only been matching really their subscription service with what Game Pass has been offering for just over a year now. Whereas Game Pass has been doing their subscription service since 2017, I think, 2018 at the latest. And they just raised their prices. Xbox did. So I don't know where Sony gets off thinking that they now should be raising their prices too after only having a comparable subscription service for a year. But the big thing that sets these subscription services apart is that Game Pass gives you day one releases. And Sony has been very adamant and outspoken about the fact that they will not do that. They are not going to give their subscriber base day one releases for their first-party proprietary PlayStation games. They are no. You will not get that from us. So that has always been my stance on the difference between these subscription services, is the fact that Xbox, while to be fair, for about the past year and a half, their proprietary releases have not been very good. You do get that from Game Pass, and you're getting it right now with Starfield. You know, it hasn't been very good for them. You know what I mean? The lack of good first party titles. They were hoping Redfall would be a good one, but it was pretty bad. They were lucky enough to get the shadow drop of Hi-Fi Rush, and for that to be so good, so that was at least a boost for them, which was on Game Pass, right? Because Tango is owned by Bethesda and Bethesda's owned by Microsoft, right? So that was on there. But and now we get Starfield. But this is a huge difference between these subscription services. The biggest difference. It's a stark contrast between the two. You get day one releases of proprietary games on Xbox and for Game Pass, and for PlayStation, you don't. You have to wait quite a bit of time, actually. And it's because Sony doesn't want to change. They've never wanted to change. Xbox has always had to be real inventive, real creative in the way they've been able to maintain competitiveness in this console market. Because they haven't sold hardware or software the same way that Nintendo or PlayStation has. So they've had to find ways to remain competitive. And their subscription service has done it for them. Now, PlayStation was like, well, we should do a subscription service too. Look how lucrative it is for Xbox, right? But they're like, but don't expect to get our proprietary games, our first party PlayStation games on their day one, because then we're not going to make as much money off of selling those retail, as we have in the past. And gamers see it. I mean, consumers see what they're doing, man. And look, you're going to try to raise your prices. That's going to be one of the first things people annotate or notice, about the difference here. Is like, you're already charging about the same price, right, as the Game Pass does. And you're not giving as much. And now you're raising the prices too when you've only had this subscription service out for a little over a year. Feels pretty bad, dude. $80 a year for the lowest tier. What the F? The new prices are vile $80 a year to play online games, a $20 jump. Whether Sony follows through with the new prices is another question entirely. Xbox once tried something similar with Xbox Live Gold, but backpedaled after all the outrage they endured from fans. So perhaps the PlayStation Plus price hike, could be a similar story. Yeah, and we already talked about the free games and everything, which is pretty lackluster. But yeah, we'll see what happens. PlayStation, in my opinion, has absolutely no reason to be raising prices right now. Not at all. I mean, Xbox at least has a lot of time under their belt, with how long they've been doing the subscription service, have never raised prices. They do first-party titles, day one releases, that kind of stuff. They've at least got some legitimate reasoning as to why it's more acceptable. Nobody likes a price hike on a consumer standpoint. You know what I mean? We never want to see that. If anything, we'd prefer to see discounts. But the business is business. But we have to understand that to an extent. Now, business is business, but business should also be taking care of your consumers. And PlayStation's coming off of a very, very scummy and very, very greedy on the front of what they're trying to do right here, right now, in my opinion. It's pretty disgusting. I'll link this for you guys. Video game review. Paper Cut Mansion, huh? What is this? Developer, Space Lizard Studios. I want to be a space lizard. Publisher, Thunderful Publishing. Excuse me. Sorry. My throat is scratchy this morning, man. Genre, roguelite. Oh, baby. Let's go. Reviewed on PS5, but is also available for PC, PS4, Xbox One, Series X and S, and Switch. Paper Cut Mansion places you in the shoes of a cop named Toby who finds himself stuck in a papercraft purgatory filled with ghosts, traps, monsters, and the occasional friendly NPC. Game opens with Toby having a slight case of the old amnesia, making it his and the player's goal to figure out how and why he got stuck in paper hell, even while searching for a way out. To this end, the player goes through an odd mixture of survival horror and roguelike gameplay that, while interesting in theory and occasionally even in practice, feels lacking in a number of ways. Start with the good. So, Paper Cut Mansion only barely tries to hide the fact that it takes place in a subconscious conjuration of comatose protagonists. One could argue it doesn't try to hide it at all, really, which in my book earns it a few points over the it was all a dream type stories. Earns a few more by actually weaving that subconscious setting into its gameplay. Each randomly generated stage has three parallel overlapping versions of itself that the player must jump between in order to progress. Puzzle heavy neocortex, the enemy ridden reptilian complex, and the frigid limbic system. Each one comes with its own types of damage, fear, anger, and nostalgia, respectively, that is primarily only dealt by sources within that realm. Though some overlap exists, mostly with fear causing traps in the reptilian and limbic systems realms. Speaking of these, like reptilian, limbic, it reminds me of Disco Elysium. A run consists of 5 regular stages, a sixth consisting solely of a boss fight. The game randomizes 2 major objectives per stage that must be completed to progress to the next one. The objectives themselves are fairly simple: find a key or puzzle item, exterminate X number of enemies, light 3 torches in the proper order, etc. But just like damage types, each type of objective corresponds with one of the realms. Additionally, there's a few details which incentivize switching between realms more often than just when the objectives demand. While searching for clues and keys in the neocortex, Toby will find lots of coins hidden in the furniture, but fear damage is easier to accrue than the other 2 times, meaning even a couple of unlucky hits can end a run. Enemies seem to respawn in the reptilian complex infinitely, but won't follow you if you switch, making it an easy proposition to get a reprieve from fighting. Limbic system is by far the easiest and most chill, pun intended, of the 3 because it doesn't have as much going on. It has heat sources which heal nostalgia indefinitely, but that can also make it boring to progress through. All of which comes together to make the central conceit of the gameplay a bit more interesting. But not that interesting, unfortunately. Paper Cut Mansion is the kind of game that can get repetitive even after a few runs, feeling exacerbated by its ending system and the narrating. Thing that's always hanging out in the upper left corner of the screen. The narrator introduces itself when you first start up the game as the demigod of unconscious. When combined with its wrinkly appearance, makes me think it's meant to be the amygdala or something. It then proceeds to repeat its introductory spiel every time you start a new run, while also never shutting up as you take actions that are extremely common. Oh god, that would maul me. The amount of times you'll hear, "Every detail is important, son," or "This looks somehow odd and interesting at the same time," is maddening. Yeah, I hate that, dude. The endings, which are honestly just tiny variations on what is basically the same thing depending on what you do on a given run. 27 endings exist in total, based on 3 factors: what difficulty, how many pieces of evidence you found, how many side quests you've completed. Um, there's merchants for in the game for getting improvements to the character and everything. Uh, I'll let you guys read the rest of it. Let's look at a trailer for this real quick. Um, they do say that the Space Lizard, the developer, did a great job in their aesthetic choices to make the game pop in a way that gameplay doesn't. The story is told mostly through these silly, off-kilter musical numbers that play between stages. That sounds fun. Their inclusion adds a certain earnest charm that simple narration wouldn't. Papercraft art style is one part of the game that they never got tired of. Fun, well executed stylistic decision the creators are very obviously passionate about. Cool. Summary here from the author of this article is that the Paper Cut Mansion is a surprisingly weird little game, constantly teetering across a balance of positive and negative qualities that ultimately relegate to being just an okay experience. Okay, let's take a look at this. Paper Cut Mansion. Let's see what this has to offer here. There's a demo. You play the demo for free. Let's take a look at the gameplay here. Yeah, the art style's dope. I like it. Oh yeah, it looks really good. No, that looks sick, man. Looks pretty neat. Mixed reviews right now, 67% of 31. It came out in October of last year. 73 on Metacritic. Respectable. There you go, if you're interested. Hadn't really heard anything about that. It's pretty neat. Kotaku, what are we talking about here? Starfield fan banned from subreddit for narking on leaker to cops. Really? Let's do that stuff, lad. Let's do this Starfield stuff, lad. Sea of Stars, guys. Sea of Stars is still banging up the charts, dude. Look at the Metacritic on this. For PC, it's an 88 right now from 31 critic reviews and an 8.2 user score. That's really solid, man. PS5, it's a 90, guys. On PS5, this is a 90 on Metascore. Now, it's only about half as many critic reviews as PC, but still, dude, this is going to be a good game. 8.7 user score. And Xbox Series X, it's got a 90 as well, of only 6 critic reviews, but 8.8. Across the board, dude, this is lining up. Let's look at Steam real quick. I'll link this for you guys if you want to take a look at some of the reviews on here and stuff. The Sea of Stars, dude. And man, this looks really appealing to me. I love old school RPGs like this game. And I was actually just talking to my best friend yesterday. He loves games like this too. And he's actually, what am I doing, dude? Finishing up some Octopath Traveler, and I was like, man, you might want to check out this new game. And he's like, oh, dude, I just saw that. And so he might play this as well. But it's at an 89% of 857 reviews right now. So this game across the board is reviewing right at the same level. All platforms, which is something you love to see, dude, from a developer. It means that this is playing roughly the same way and is a very good game. So not only is apparently this game being very well received, very well reviewed, but it's playing well across all platforms. That's great, dude. Sabotage Studios. This might be a play for us coming up, guys. This looks really interesting to me. So, wonder how long to beat is on Sea of Stars. Let's take a look at that real quick. Not a real long game. Oh, this is the only polls right now. Oh, geez, dude. We need more data on this right now. Yeah, we need more data on this. There are only 2 polls right now. Okay. But somewhere probably around 20 to 25 hours is what it's looking like right now, depending on your play style. So if you're interested in the game, that's what you could probably expect. Okay, here we go, man. Once again, more restricted military documents have been leaked by a player in War Thunder. Multiple leaks of classified military documents in the past as well. Yeah, dude, it just keeps happening for some reason. A War Thunder player leaked the flight manual of the Eurofighter Typhoon DA-7 on the game's official forums because they would like the aircraft to be a playable plane. This is a 700, quote, this is a 730-page manual for the DA-7 that contains everything on all the systems, weaponry, flight data, etc. Explained the player on the deleted post via PC Gamer. I hope this data will give the devs help the devs to add this magnificent jet faster and make it as accurate as possible. Can't wait to fly it in the game. A moderator then responded to the player and said, do not post the DA-7 manuals, adding that there is a specific policy that no classified documents should be shared on the War Thunder forums. This policy is in fact described as a sticky thread at the top of the forum's landing page, meaning that the player would have ignored the evident warning not to do what they did. As a clarification, this person stumbled upon the manual themselves, added it to the game out of perceived helpfulness, and did not leak it from their place of work. That sets it apart from multiple War Thunder leaks in the past where players have argued amongst themselves over the accuracy of various military vehicles. In 2021, a commander of a Challenger 2 tank from Tidworth, UK, shared screenshots of classified documents that were apparently from the official Army Equipment Support publication to prove that developer Gaijin Entertainment did not recreate it correctly. Resultantly, the commander was in violation of the Official Secrets Act, which is an offense that can carry up to a 14-year prison sentence if they were to be prosecuted. Since then, leaks have occurred from the official manuals for the French Leclerc tank, an unnamed Chinese tank, and the F-16 fighter plane. Some people, dude. I don't know. There you go. All right, here we go. So this will be the last kind of stuff we cover here before we get ready for the Nintendo Direct. Oh, God, dude, what a stretch. Now, Nintendo Direct happens in about an hour here, but what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of time. We'll finish up these articles. These have to do with the Starfield situation of the guy that got arrested is facing felony charges for stealing copies of the game from a warehouse that I think it was apparently working out of, and selling them for an enormously increased price point, and also leaking a lot of information from the game from himself. We'll hit on this, and then we'll get ready for the Nintendo Direct that happens in roughly an hour. Any kind of extra time we have, we'll just watch some trailers and stuff. There's I've got a cool trailer of Soul Frame that we've already hit on, but it's a nice like 30-minute look at Soul Frame for anybody that hasn't seen it. We'll also look at Crimson Desert, maybe. You know, both of those are really cool looking games that we've gotten to take peeks at here recently, and so we'll potentially just waste a little bit of, not waste time, but we'll spend a little bit of time doing that kind of stuff after the news segment before we dive into the Nintendo Direct and then before we play games today, okay? But here we go. Starfield fan banned from subreddit for narking on leaker to cops. So, Reddit's Gaming Leaks and Rumors banned a commenter after he posted about ratting out the leaker. Starfield leaks began blowing up across the internet last week after 29-year-old Darren Harris I'm guessing this is Darren Harris right here, okay? Allegedly stole dozens of copies of the game from a warehouse and started selling them online. One Reddit user immediately reported the leaks to Bethesda and Memphis police, and he's now been banned from the Reddit Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit for posting about it. I know this because the commenter in question, Jasper Adkins, emailed Kotaku to inform us it had happened. Quote, it seems to me that the subreddit is running on bread and circuses mode mixed with bystander syndrome. he wrote in his initial email. They're perfectly willing to ignore a crime that hurts a developer and they claim to support in exchange for a few minutes of shaky gameplay filmed from a phone. Dude, I agree. I actually, dude, I talk about this a lot. I am not about this stuff, dude. I am very, very against all this, like, any kind of information that is not pushed out by the developer themselves. This stuff that is illegally obtained by individuals is not good for us. It's not good. The fact of the matter is, when the developer is ready for us to have the information, we'll get it. When you're talking about games that are in development, for instance, like Grand Theft Auto 6 and the hacks that happened, and they stole all that information, all they're doing is ruining the relationship between us and the developer even further. What we want, what we need even, is to rekindle and repair the relationship between developers and ourselves, and vice versa. Okay, it goes both ways, because developers and publishers have definitely harmed the relationship between us as well. But if you take a look at some of the better games that are made nowadays, it's games that developers have maintained a really nice relationship, open communication with the community of players, the people that are devoted to their games and their company and are trying to help them, provide feedback. Take a look at Larian in Baldur's Gate 3, right? That game was in early access for 3 years, and they definitely did that in an attempt to get as much feedback as possible from the community of potential consumers, right? And as fans of the game, to ensure that they were going to be making something that was going to appeal to as much of the audience as possible, as much of us game enthusiasts as possible that were interested in playing a game like Baldur's Gate 3. And it paid off. Paid off for them, and it paid off for us too. It's a mutually beneficial situation. Now, what sucks is that quite often you'll have developers and publishers that try to open these lines of communication, and then you have a few people that ruin it because they do asinine stuff like attack the company verbally, attack employees of the company verbally, or they'll do even crazier stuff like show up on their doorstep of their workplace or even their private residence because they're out of their minds. And then the company's like, okay, we got to shut this stuff down. You know, there are things like that that harm the relationship. And don't get me wrong, again, the publishers and developers and everybody, they've harmed relationships between us too, because they've done scummy stuff to us in the past, right? But whenever, we do things like this, and it just keeps pushing, this line in between us, makes it wider and wider and wider, to where, they don't want to communicate with us anymore. They don't want to know what we want out of a game because they're too afraid to have these open lines of communication because of what might happen, or they're afraid that by doing that, it's going to make them more vulnerable to some kind of attack, right? Because anytime an attack happens, and or something where they get, like with Rockstar, and look, I'm not even a big fan of Rockstar right now, but it still feels bad to me that with Rockstar, they got hacked. They got a ton of their information stolen about the project development of GTA 6. A lot of information that they didn't want to share. And even if it was information they were going to share at one point, they weren't ready to share it right then. And it pushes them into a corner where they're having to divulge things when they're not ready to. The fact of the matter with this situation is that we're not that far away from the game releasing. And everybody was going to, as soon as the game released, there was going to inevitably be a lot of information that came out anyways, right? But instead, you've got people that do this kind of crap that end up harming the relationship between us and the developers even more. It hurts the developer as a business and everything too. It's just terrible, dude. And it doesn't need to happen, you know? And then you've got like a Reddit board in here, you know, like a Reddit site that is also banning this person for doing what they should have done. That person needed to be reported. I truly believe that. It sucks. I'm also not a huge, you know, I've played Bethesda games for a long time, but I'm not playing Starfield on release. You know, it's a situation where I'm anticipating Bethesda simply for the fact to see whether or not Bethesda can get back in the good graces of a lot of gamers with releasing a pretty solid game again. They've had some trials and tribulations of some kind of bad content over the past 5 to 7 years, you know? And while I've loved a lot of Bethesda games over the years, that, you know, this is something I'm sitting back and watching right now. So the fact of the matter is, it doesn't help anything by people doing this kind of stuff. And it's terrible that because somebody did the right thing, they're getting punished for it by a bunch of people that don't understand that the what the repercussions are of just constantly data mining and stealing information about games and developers and stuff that eventually we would probably get our hands on anyways if they would just chill out and let it come to us whenever the developers were ready to divulge that information anyways. So, Reddit gaming leaks and rumors, one of the biggest hotspots for insider gaming info and speculation on the internet, has indeed been in rare form lately. After Harris uploaded the first 40 minutes of his playthrough and it began to make the rounds on the subreddit, it was like a dam broke. One of the most anticipated open-world sci-fi RPGs of the year and possibly the decade was finally getting into people's hands ahead of schedule. Commenters on the subreddit picked apart every new screenshot and piece of footage for new information. One of the most popular leak posts recently, evidence that you can grab ledges, a first for a Bethesda RPG, despite the criminal charges against him. Harris has become something of a folk hero within the community of fans hungry for Starfield leaks. I don't understand it. Why? I don't understand the mindset behind that. The game's getting ready to release anyways. Why are you so adamant about finding out about the game before it even comes out? Why do people want to know in the first place? Don't you want to experience it for yourself anyways? Why are you so adamant about finding out about the game before it even comes out? I don't get that. I don't understand that. As the commercial appeal reported, memes hail him as Lord Tyrone, his middle name, and one player even vowed to name their Starfield ship Memphian in his honor. Adkins hasn't been part of the ongoing bonanza, though. He was banned from Reddit gaming leaks and rumors on August 24th, shortly after posting about how he tried to help get Harris arrested. An officer at the station told me so himself when I called him about it. He wrote in the middle of a long comment thread. Adkins soon received a notification he had violated the subreddit's rules. He protested, but the Reddit gaming leaks and rumors admins weren't having it. Just not interested in having someone here who takes action against the community like that, they wrote back. I reached out to one of the subreddit's admins to confirm what had happened and the thinking behind the ban. If he just did it, I wouldn't think badly of him, but to come on the sub and brag about calling cops on the dude just rubbed me the wrong way. One of them told Kotaku in a DM, might unban him at some point, but for now he's behind the bars of the internet. I am now a pariah of the subreddit, Adkins wrote in his initial email. I get it. I get it. Hype and excitement are at an all-time high. I'm just as excited as the next person, but I draw the line at theft. I was raised to believe that crime doesn't pay. I had hoped our society and so-called Bethesda fans could be held to a higher standard. It seems that that is sadly not the case. Yeah, dude. That feels terrible. Adkins showed Kotaku screenshots of his communication with the Memphis PD and Bethesda to demonstrate that he did in fact reach out with links to video footage of Harris's Starfield leak and tips that the copies of the game may have been stolen. Hey, you got him, Adkins wrote to the police officer at one point. That was fast. Just saw that on Reddit. Not clear whether or not Adkins' actions ultimately contributed to Harris's arrest. According to an affidavit filed in Shelby County, it was the Vantiva warehouse who first told the Memphis Police Department about the alleged theft. Quote, I feel like my information helped connect the two faster than it would have been, Adkins told Kotaku. He said he still lurks on Reddit gaming leaks and rumors and remains excited for Starfield's release. No doubt the community will vilify me while criminals are elevated to meme and legend status, he wrote. It's no wonder why people are losing faith in humanity. Dude, no doubt. This feels terrible, dude. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, this is why, I mean, people having any kind of like moral or ethical compass anymore, you know, they just get ground down on a daily basis. You know, the world is just full of corruption, and you know, it's terrible. I don't know. Somebody did the right thing and instead they get punished for it. It's like, honestly, I feel like it, like I said before, the constant attacks that developers are under from the communities in gaming is not a good thing, dude. It's not good for us. It doesn't help anything. Well, you got information on the game a week before it released. What's that do for you? Nothing, dude, at all. But destroy the relationship even more, all encompassing between us as the consumer and gaming enthusiasts and fans of certain developers, and between us and them. It literally does nothing else. And people can't just thrive on what the developer gives us in anticipation of the game. They have to resort to things like this. And then, yeah, I don't get it, dude. Putting people up on a pedestal that resort to this kind of stuff. I mean, dude, shout out to this guy for doing the right thing. Not many people would, obviously, and then you suffer the repercussions for doing the right thing. It feels bad, so I don't know. That's a rough thing right there. So here's the guy, Memphis man accused of stealing unreleased copies of Starfield video game record show. So I guess depending on what kind of person you are and how you feel about this situation, and I guess straight back in regards to what we just read in that previous article, there are apparently a lot of people who are looking at this guy as like an icon right now, making him some kind of legendary status individual across the gaming community because he's a thief and he's hurt the relationship even more between us and another developer. So I guess depending on what kind of person you are and how you view this situation, personally, I'm glad he got caught. Just like I'm glad the guy that hacked Rockstar got caught. So a Memphis man, Devin Harris, 29. This individual is identified as the suspect in the theft on August 23rd after the head of security and loss prevention at Vantiva, a warehouse in Memphis, told police about missing copies of Starfield before its September 6th release date, according to his arrest affidavit. Media reports, however, state the Xbox video game will be available September 1st. Yes, that's the early release date for the game. Base release date is September 6th. Developed by Bethesda Game Studio, Starfield is described as an action role-playing game with players around the world excited about its release. Yep. According to multiple gaming websites, Harris posted the first 45 minutes of Starfield online that went viral, made listings of additional copies of the video game, and filmed himself on a cell phone going to FedEx to ship copies he sold. On August 24th, the day after he was identified as a suspect in the Starfield video game thefts, Harris was taken into custody at his home, court records show. According to the documents, a Memphis police officer found one FedEx package with a copy of the game inside, 4 of its Xbox Starfield games, and 2 of its Xbox Series Upgrade editions. Police also found 3 handguns and the marijuana. Court documents allege. Who cares? Court documents say that Harris told an investigator that he bought the Starfield video games from an unknown individual. He was charged with felony theft of property between $2,500 and $10,000, among other offenses, records show. He's also going to be getting charged with like trying to sell stolen property, things of that nature. He's going to be getting charged with a lot of stuff, dude. Harris posted a $10,000 bond on Friday, online records show. Yep. There you go. I don't know. That's the news, man. So we're about 45 minutes away, roughly, before we'll get to start watching this Nintendo Direct showcase. So we're gonna get prepared for that. I'm not gonna game until we get finished watching that, okay? But so what we'll do is we'll finish the news segment here. We'll spend a little bit of time. I'll take a quick break. I'll get some coffee, something to eat, stuff like that, and then we'll watch some trailers, some cool new trailers that have come out and stuff. We've already watched them and stuff, but for anybody that hasn't gotten to see them yet, we'll just rehash these things out, take a bit, chill out this morning, and enjoy some refreshments together. You know what I mean? And check out some of these. Probably watch the Soul Frame stuff, watch the Crimson Desert stuff, and then once the Nintendo Direct kicks off, we'll watch that, and then we'll get into some Fallout New Vegas. I am going to have to take off early today. I just found out this morning something happened, man, and it's nothing terrible, but there is something that has happened life-wise that I have to take care of. So it'll be a little bit early of an end to the stream today, probably around lunchtime or something. I'm going to have to bounce, unfortunately. That's why I was having to take these phone calls this morning. Something unexpected popped up, and I'll let you know as we move forward through the day what time I'm going to have to bounce and everything. But just be ready for the fact it's going to be a bit of a shorter day, okay? Awesome news segment. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. We're going to go watch Nintendo Direct, play some video games, Fallout New Vegas. If anybody's getting to check out this news segment live or maybe as a VOD later, understand that we have all the previous video gaming news segments, which are always conducted at the beginning of all of our streams, 6 days a week. Every day besides Wednesday. This week's a little bit wonky because we did stream on Wednesday because I'm going to be off. No live stream Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, okay? But normal schedule, 6 days a week, every day besides Wednesday, 6 a.m. CST, CDT. We always kick it off with video gaming news. All the previous video gaming news segments are on our YouTube and Twitch channel, along with all of our playthroughs we've done for video games, and wild, crazy, fun clips, highlights, all that stuff of stuff that's happened here in the channel. So all the stuff's in playlists on the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel. Go check that stuff out. If you're enjoying it, come hang out with us when we go live. Like I said, 6 days a week, 6 a.m. CST, CDT. We got an amazing community here. Always have a lot of fun. Enjoy hanging out together and staying up to date with what's going on in the video gaming industry, as well as just having fun playing games together and doing stuff like that. So other than that, man, happy last day of August. Happy Thursday. All right. Everybody, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another. And I'll catch everybody tomorrow for September 1st edition of Video Gaming News. All right.